2025 minutes. I assume that my fellow board members have had an opportunity to review them.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion from Bill,
Second.
second from Tom. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. And it looks like that carries. All right. So now we'll move into our projects for approval. Agenda item number 2 is Vershonda Grindle and Brian McGarity, the Director of Safe and Orderly Schools, presenting project number 49280. Thank you and welcome.
Good morning. Agenda item number 2 is for the recommendation for project number 49280 to utilize the award of an RFP issued by the Mississippi Department of Education for the acquisition of a school safety platform for the Mississippi Department of Education. Rule 207.6013-06 of the ITS Procurement Handbook defines the emergency procedure for IT purchases, and search procedures were written to capture legislative intent and mirror Mississippi Code. Further, based on statute and ITS regulations, any contract awarded from an emergency declaration by an agency shall not exceed a term of 1 year. At the September 2021 ITS board meeting, MDE presented a recommendation to suspend the 1-year restriction on contracts resulting from a State Board of Education emergency declaration for contracts to meet certain fund requirements for federal COVID relief funding. The ITS board temporarily suspended through March 31st, 2022, the regulation that restricted contracts to a 1-year period, with said contracts to not exceed a term beyond September of 2024. A school safety platform was included in the ITS board suspension. In November 2021, MDE issued an RFP for a health and school safety platform. On February 21st, 2022, the State Board of Education approved the contract with the awarded vendor, Inside Incorporated, and the system was launched in March 2022 for a 3-year period that expires March 3rd, 2026. Mississippi Code Annotated Section 25-53-5 RII grants ITS the authority to reuse awards made by other governmental entities, piggyback a procurement sourcing term when certain conditions are met. ITS reviewed the RFP issued by MDE and verified that it meets the criteria for reuse. The staffs of ITS and MDE jointly recommends the selection of Inside Incorporated to provide a school safety platform at a total 1-year life cycle cost of $1,400,000. With me to answer any questions you may have is Brian McGarty, Director of Schools and Orderly Schools, Safe and Orderly Schools, excuse me.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I'm not completely sure what we're doing here. I read this and I've listened to it again. I'm still not clear on it. Can somebody just kind of give me a quick summary of what we're doing?
We're doing what they should have done at Brown.
Put in more
So
cameras.
it's not really COVID related. It's not really health related as much as it is disaster response safety.
Yeah. That's what my takeaway was, that this lets law enforcement and others access to maps and that sort of thing.
But this isn't changing the way we handle emergency purchases, is it, or is it?
It's not, but this is Renee Murray, Procurement Director. Sorry to jump in, but
Okay.
MDE did do a procurement for this during COVID, and we vetted that procurement for reuse in order not to have to start all over again. We were able to use what they did, decide that it meets our requirements, and can continue with the contract that they entered into without us when they were under that exemption.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought it said, but wasn't clear. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I see what you were asking more about process as opposed to content.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Madam Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve as requested.
I have a motion to approve as requested. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Tom. Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Looks like it carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Agenda item 2.5. Presenting on behalf of the Division of Early Childhood and Development. Excuse me, I've got to jump back up. We've got Matthew Livingston, Chad Allgood. I'm presenting project number 49273-3.66 on behalf of the Mississippi Department of Human Services.
Good morning. With agenda item number 2.5, project number 49273, requesting approval for the continuation of an increase to the agreement with Well Systems Foundation for web-based early learning systems subscription and support for the Mississippi Department of Human Services, MDHS. The mission of the MDHS Division of Early Childhood Care and Development, DECCD, is to provide subsidized child care assistance to eligible low-income parents that enables them to become and remain employed, and to empower parents to select quality child care that meets the needs of their family. MDHS DECCD has had a need for an early learning management system to perform needs assessments for child care providers, track performance of child care providers, and assist subgrantees in creating performance improvement plans for child care centers. In January 2013, ITS, on behalf of MDHS, executed an agreement with Well Systems Foundation for the purchase of the web-based early learning system, hosting, and support using ITS RFP number 3677. MDHS previous administration terminated the Wells contract in its entirety in April 2017, and in 2023, MDHS requested permission from ITS to utilize the award of RFP number 3677 to initiate a new agreement with the Wells System Foundation to continue use of the existing system for a 3-year term that now expires February 8th, 2026. The staffs of ITS and MDHS jointly recommend approval of the continuation of and increase to the agreement with Wells Systems Foundation through February 8th, 2029 in an amount not to exceed $2,812,555.00 for web-based early learning system subscription and support. With this continuation, the revised total not to exceed 10-year life cycle cost of this project is $4,979,432.28. From MDHS. To answer any questions regarding this project are Mark Allen, Chief Information Officer, Chad Allgood, Division Director, Division of Early Childhood Care and Development.
Thank you and welcome. Do you have any questions or comments from the board?
I like the t-shirt. Very, nice holiday look, Mark.
It's Christmas decorating contest today, so
I have no
All
question.
right. Okay, do I have a motion?
I move approval.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Looks like it carries.
thank y'all. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry
Same to you.
Christmas.
Okay, we're on to number 4. We have Danetta Durr, Dr. Dorothy Young, presenting on behalf of the Mississippi State Department of Health. Thank you and welcome.
Morning. Agenda item number 4 is the recommendation for project number 493-3558 for the continuation of an increase to the agreement with STC Health for the operation and maintenance of the immunization registry for the Mississippi State Department of Health. The Mississippi State Department of Health is authorized by Mississippi Code annotated section 41-88-3, section 2 to establish a statewide childhood immunization registry to which all healthcare providers will report the administration of childhood immunizations, as required by the Mississippi Child Immunization Act of 1994. The immunization registry mix generates data which is utilized by the agency for the following. Number 1, to consolidate and secure patient records accessible by healthcare providers and patients. Number 2, for the generation of required documents for school entry. And number 3, for professional requirements, travel, and for federal programs. In 2009, ITS conducted RFP number 3558 on behalf of MSDH, and STC was the awarded vendor. Since then, ITS and MSDH have amended the agreement to renew the subscription and services and to add enhancements and modules. The agreement expires on December 31st, 2025, and MSDH is requesting to renew the agreement with STC Health for the operation and maintenance of the MSDH immunization registry mix for 2 years. This allows ITS and MSDH to explore procurement options for a replacement system. The staffs of ITS and MSDH jointly recommend approval of the continuation of an increase to the agreement with STC Health through December 31st, 2027, and an amount not to exceed $4,632,802.58 for the operation and maintenance of the immunization registry. With this continuation, the total 18-year life cycle cost is $29,264,797.71. With me today to answer any questions you may have are Dr. Dorothy Young, Assistant Senior Deputy, and Amanda Nataj, Immunizations Director.
Thank you and welcome. And my apologies, I skipped agenda item number 3. So
Yeah, you did. It
same-
kind of caught me
I'm
off guard because I
sorry.
wasn't ready to read, but
Just keeping you on your Christmas toes. We're going to go ahead and do 4, and then we'll double back to 3 if that's okay with you guys. I know it's pretty much the same crew. So we'll move forward with number 4, and then we'll go back to 3. Any questions or comments from the board on agenda item number 4? All right. Y'all are an easy crowd today.
Make a motion to approve as
Motion
requested.
from Bill.
Second.
Have a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. It carries.
Thank you.
All right, so back to agenda item number 3, we have Matthew Livingston and Dr. Young and the State Department of Health continuing.
Good morning. With agenda item number 3, project number 49321, requesting approval for the continuation of an increase to the agreement with Conduent State and Local Solutions, Inc. for the WIC Electronic Benefit Transfer EBT solution for the Mississippi State Department of Health, MSDH, Women, Infants, and Children's Nutrition Program, WIC. The Mississippi State Department of Health, Women, Infants, and Children's Nutrition Program, WIC, provides food benefits to WIC participants via a retail vendor system of food delivery in an EBT environment. WIC participants receive prescriptive benefits via an eWIC card and purchase WIC-approved food items from WIC vendors, i.e. grocery stores and pharmacies statewide. In October 2017, ITS, in conjunction with the Mississippi Department of Human Services and MSDH WIC, issued RFP number 3884 for the acquisition of an electronic benefit transfer system. The award to Conduent State and Local Solutions, Inc. was approved by the ITS board in December 2018, and a EBT agreement was executed for a 5-year term. In March 2024, an amendment to the agreement was executed to extend the term for an additional 2 years. MSDH requests approval to continue the agreement with Conduent State and Local Solutions, Inc. for the renewal of the WIC EBT solution and to provide additional services for 1 year to enhance MSDH's ability to support the population of participants. The staffs of ITS and MSDH jointly recommend approval for the continuation of an increase to the agreement with Conduent State and Local Solutions, Inc. through March 31st, 2027 in an amount not to exceed $1,905,452.00 for the WIC EBT solution. With this continuation, the revised total 8-year lifecycle cost of this project is $5,630,198.00. From MSDH to answer any questions regarding this project are Dr. Dorothy Young, Assistant Senior Deputy, Dr. Jamisha Ballard, WIC Director.
Thank you and welcome. Any questions or comments from the board?
Me.
Fairly straightforward. I move approval.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All right, moving right along.
Thank
We'll
you.
go-
Thank
Thank
you. Merry
you.
Christmas.
We will go from 3 to 5 now, since we have covered number 4. All right, our very own Stephanie. You want to give us agenda item number 5?
So this is Renee Murray. I'm going to kick us off and then Stephanie can chime in and answer all the hard questions. So we are pleased to come to you today and present our first use of Code Section 25535R, which authorizes ITS to enter into statewide master contracts for computer or telecommunications equipment or services when it is deemed to be in the state's best interest. Use of this authority is exempt from the advertising and bidding requirements set forth in Code Section 25553(1). To meet this criteria for entering into the contract, an offering from a particular vendor must promote the maximum use of or benefit from the equipment or services. The technology or service must be in use or contemplated for use by multiple entities. Use of the contract must minimize duplication of things like procurements, contracts, and implementations. Must reduce costs overall. Must improve efficiencies, and that again, the procurements and contract negotiations enters into that bullet point. And finally, must allow for shared use of the technology. Because we really do look at our mandate to maximize competition, we want to make sure that anything we enter into meets the full intent of the law. So we developed a rubric which functions as a series of gates that a particular technology must pass through, much like we would do in a competitive procurement, to determine whether or not a particular offering meets the requirements of the law. So when the rubric identifies that we have a valid opportunity for a master contract, we run it through our legal department, and if they agree, it's presented to the ITS Executive Director for consideration. And if it meets his final stamp of approval, it will be presented to this board for your approval. We really view this and this process as a big step forward in modernizing our procurement processes and in eliminating delays and one-off contract negotiations. If you approve the use of a contract like this, we will then publish instructions for use, which will allow other entities, local and state, institutions of higher learning as well, to enter into the contract. The attached rubric to your write-up was completed based on a proposal from OpenAI for their ChatGPT platform and demonstrates that entering into a master agreement for this technology is in accordance with the statute. So ITS staff recommends approval to establish a statewide master agreement with Carahsoft for the use of OpenAI's ChatGPT. The staff further requests that future use of the master agreement be delegated to the ITS Executive Director. And again, Stephanie Hedgepeth and I are both prepared to answer any questions you have about either the process or the particular contract with OpenAI.
Thank you, Renee. I'm sorry that I failed to call on you
That's okay.
individually.
So
So questions or comments? This is our first use of the master contract authority.
did you use ChatGPT in connection with preparing the rubric?
Oh, we did not, but I will tell you that 20% of a statewide agency use of AI is with ChatGPT. That information, as well as others, will be sent to the board in our annual AI inventory report as part of the Executive Order 1584. So the board will be able to have a snapshot view of how state government is currently leveraging AI in their day-to-day operations.
If I may, I'd just like to say, I know, Stephanie, you and your whole team's worked on this. This is quite an inaugural use of the statute, so I'm glad. It's one of the first, if not the first in the nation, isn't it?
Yes, sir. This is not just seats to access ChatGPT. This is a partnership with OpenAI. They will be having dedicated support for Mississippi to assist ITS and agencies in smart and effective adoption of their technology. There will be enablement or implementation support, training events. We will be hosting, I'm sure, many training events throughout the year to ensure that we're not only providing the ChatGPT service to state employees, but we are also ensuring that they're able to use it to the fullest extent possible.
Well,
Great.
there,
Congratulations.
and I'm thank you, Chairman Williams and Representative Ford for joining us today. I failed to mention them, but I appreciate them being here. Stephanie, will there be any guardrails or training education on behalf of the state, perhaps by you or the executive director, as far as data privacy and protection of state resources? I wouldn't want all the education and training coming just from the vendor, from ChatGPT.
Absolutely. So ITS actually just released an acceptable use policy that we're using internally, and agencies can use that as a sample policy. Luckily, state agencies that collect and utilize sensitive information already have a pretty robust privacy program within each of the agencies. Regardless of the technology utilized, those data protection policies still stand. We have some standard terms and conditions in our contracts related to data protection, privacy, ownership, as well as compliance with our state enterprise security policy.
Okay, very good. All right, so I guess we need a motion to approve this, right? Do I have any other further discussion, questions, or a motion?
I'll move approval.
I'll approve, second.
Motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Very
Thank you very
nice.
much.
I look forward to hearing more on that.
Yep,
Absolutely.
exciting times.
And kudos to Mississippi for being a leader in that front.
Yep.
All right, agenda item number 6, Mr. Executive Director with his report.
Thank you, Madam Chair and the board. Let me first just say, which I rarely do, back to an agenda item, the last one we did. I think hopefully it shows the strides that the team is making, and I think our focus of not only on innovation, but very much taking seriously modernizing procurement to put the right tech in the hands of folks across the state. Let me start with the work the team's been doing to shore up our legislative agenda for the upcoming session. Maybe you share with me the shock that it is the middle of December and that sure seemed like we got here quick. So what I want to do is give you a very high level overview of what we'll be talking about during the session. And then you'll kind of hear some follow-ups, that kind of plug into what our strategic agenda is. So we're going to be looking at 3 areas which are sort of carry forward from our 5 strategic initiatives that we had great success with last year. And I think on piggybacking on just the last couple of comments, we're absolutely keeping the need to expedite procurement modernization on our top 5 list. I shared with you, the board, that we did a final readout of a 3-year roadmap for modernization with our agency partners in October. And in essence, that effort is really rooted in 3 components: business process transformation, the creation of express product offerings, not unlike the master agreement that we just talked about, and looking at other system modernization for e-procurement. We want to also, related to the last item, we want to seek the speeding up of AI adoption for impact across the state. This is generational technology, and I think leveraging it appropriately, we very much want to do that. So the agreement we just talked about is key to this strategy from last year. We're going to marry it with our innovation hub that we have built in addition to our innovation fund to hopefully move that forward. We're also seeking to fully leverage our Cloud Center of Excellence. If you recall, the legislature passed and the governor signed on April 17th, House Bill 1491. We are at work right now with EY to implement the Cloud Center of Excellence. It is a 16-week engagement. Our agency partners are at the table, getting interviewed and having feedback on how ITS develops this shared service for maximal use. We have 2 net new initiatives we're looking at. We want to drive enterprise cybersecurity maturity across the state. If the board recalls, in 2017, we had success in passing our first enterprise security statute, and we really want to double down on eliminating risk to the fullest extent possible and maturing our cyber effort with our partner agencies. And lastly, we very much want to optimize shared technology solutions. We're governed via a federated model where there's a central IT organization and our agencies have full autonomy through the budget process and with the teams that they have to do what they need to do to deliver on their missions. But we also think in this era, we very much want to sit across the table and have conversations about sharing solutions. I think there is a tremendous amount of opportunity to build more of these shared solutions and move the state forward. You're seeing some of that with the approaches to AI. You're seeing it with cyber, and hopefully you'll be seeing it as we continue to look at procurement modernization. So that rounds out our 5. Let me do a couple of deep dives, and as always, more than happy to take some questions. One of the ones I've mentioned last time, Senate Bill 2267, which asked us to take a look at a Mississippi statewide data exchange. We stood up a CIO council at the very end of September, and the team via the council just met on Friday, the 12th of December, and it was a visit with the state of Tennessee, kind of some state information sharing about how they have moved forward, using data across state agencies. So I'm really thrilled at the direction of our Chief Strategy Officer that this initiative is up and going. Stephanie also mentioned some of the outworkings of the governor's Executive Order 1584. That inventory was done. I actually just looked at the letter that we'll be sending to the governor last evening. So I'm really thrilled about that work. Not only just that inventory and the data it gave us, but the team's work on an acceptable use policy with guiding principles for the appropriate use of artificial intelligence. So really thrilled about the leadership there. And it's really sort of pinging on all fronts with the innovation hub We're going to be looking at use cases to implement, to sort of operationalize some of these tools in our agencies to start seeing savings. And this acceptable use policy really puts in place these frameworks, these guidelines, and these principles for use. So I think we've had a very productive year on that front, and I couldn't be more pleased. In conjunction with the governor's executive order, you know, the legislature passed Senate Bill 2426, which I've briefed you on, which is the Artificial Intelligence Regulation Task Force. I was out of town traveling for work last week, but the task force wrapped up their work on the 11th of December. And we're going to be contributors to a report that's put together, reporting out of the work of the task force and how we need to kind of continue to keep our eye on that. So from a legislative and policy sort of approach and sort of the EA approach on the executive branch, lots of great movement in the last year. A couple of other quick updates for the board. I think I mentioned ITS has been asked to join the National Association of State CIO Executive Committee, which we will be doing, and we will be co-chairing the Emerging Technology and AI Working Group nationally from a leadership perspective. And speaking of that, our very own Matthew Henry, our Associate General Counsel, attended a conference hosted by NASCIO focused on the DOJ ruling for enhanced ADA compliance. And ITS has an internal working group focused on that, of how we could best not only do what we need to do internally, but support our agencies. Two other very quick notes. We hosted, and I was thrilled to kick off with one of my dear friends, Mike Hussey, who was the former state CIO of Utah, an Oracle Innovation Day that ITS hosted downstairs to kind of look at Oracle's data and analytics solutions. It is an amazing time with what some of this technology allows us to do. And wanted to also report that ITS attended the GIS Coordinating Council meeting just this week and have sort of plugged into where they are going. So thank you, Madam Chair and the board. That is a quick run around the block on all of the things we have been focused on, and would be more than happy to take questions on any of our strategic initiatives, the conversations we've had with the Legislative Budget Office, as well as key legislators before we go into the holiday season, and then come back and get going in January.
Thank you, Craig.
Yes.
That's a good report. Y'all have been busy.
Yes.
And I know it's a busy season and legislative session is right around the corner.
Yes.
Very good. Any questions or comments from my fellow board members?
None for me.
No, done for me.
Okay.
Good.
Interesting times.
All right, so next meeting, we'll move on to number 7, verify the quorum for next time, January 15th, 2026. I should be available. And do we know, Haley or Craig, did we slate that for virtual, hybrid, or in person? Have we decided?
I do not know the answer to that. If we have done that yet, we can check and do that. Or Stephanie, do you know if we're doing straight virtual in January?
I want to say it is in person, but let me double check.
It's on the schedule for virtual. I just checked on the website.
Oh, thank you, Renee.
Oh,
Virtual.
no, I'm wrong. That's December. You're right, Stephanie. It
Okay.
is in
I was
person.
like to say, we usually
is
like to
in
have the
person.
first one of the year
Yes.
in person.
So sorry, my bad.
That means
Okay.
it's, that means it'll snow. Okay, good.
It'll snow, is that what he said?
Let it snow.
Okay, so I should be available January 15th.
I should be as well.
And I plan to be available.
I plan to be available.
Very good. Okay. Sounds good. We will confirm closer to time, and I think that wraps us up. Thank you all for participating and forgiving my errors of the day, and I wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Merry
Same to
Christmas.
you.
Yep,
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. Yep,
Bye. Bye-bye.
bye-bye.